Welcome to the Cosmic Echoes we're in August.
We're in August. Help! How did that happen? Hot August.
And it's warm and it feels like summer to me. It feels like warmth. But Sue, you've got a beautiful message that you want to share. So let's start with
Yes,
that.
I do. I just want to thank everyone who listens to us
Yeah.
because Michelle and I share a real passion about not being a clickbait YouTube channels, both of
Yeah.
us. The
Yeah.
wisdom, what you do, and
Yes.
also
Yeah.
celebrating astrology is not about clickbait. And there's an awful lot of that going on at the moment. And neither of us make money out of advertising through these channels. So we do it from love and from a real desire to share information with you that may help you to make more sense about what's going on, and also to share very hard earned wisdom. If that doesn't sound arrogant, but that's our aim. And we just, both of us, I think both of us want to just thank you so much for actually being here with us and being present with us.
Yeah.
We're all
And
in this
sharing,
together.
yeah, and sharing your comments and I always go and read on both channels and kind
Yeah.
of just it's so good. Yeah, it feeds us to be able to do this. There's no rehearsals. Sue has all the astrology wisdom and she kind of brings that, but the rest of it is just conversational and how we experiencing the world in this moment, and what we can, yeah, what our
Yeah.
experiences. So,
Yeah. Just
yeah.
felt like, thank you. So, even if it's only one of
Exactly.
you. So, we need to get on. Oh my gosh. So, fire everywhere.
Yeah.
Very scary. I was
Yeah.
at a campsite last weekend, and the field behind the campsite, there was a fire pit, and that ignited on its own, and and
Wow.
fire engines were called, and I suddenly understood in a very low way, by the way, very quiet way, the terror of what the people in France on the campsites must have been feeling,
Yeah.
going, and it was just, this went whoosh. And,
Yeah.
and obviously the fire engines came, everything got put out. That was absolutely fine. But it could have taken a spark and all the trees around would have gone up.
Yeah.
So yes, we need to be vigilant. And just before we started recording this, I think, this whole concept of water is suddenly coming to the fore. And the River Danube is actually drying up, so they can't get the barges up to deliver food further up into Europe. So this is a really serious situation, and I'm not
Mm.
going to do a fluffy one on it.
Yeah.
And we have to find ways of conserving as much water as we can. I've actually, in where I live, there has been rain.
Yeah.
There's been two showers which have damped the soil, but that's it. Nothing in the water
Yeah.
butts. So yes, we are in a serious situation. This and
Yeah.
I don't want to sensationalize that.
Yeah. And I think we need to acknowledge, it's all good to fluffify everything, but we also have the responsibility to kind of take,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
plant food if you can. It
Yes.
is actually quite empowering. Have a water tank or, catch rainwater. Um, yeah, that's
Yeah.
how we've always kind of done it in Africa.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, it's needed. And
Yeah.
maybe, data centers and AI has got its place, but it is also using resources, um,
Water resources,
water
which we
resources.
can't afford it at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to change everybody's relationship with the land, with themselves, and
Mm,
actually get real. We've been very protected in Northern Europe.
yeah.
We've
Yeah.
had a lot of water, a lot of rain over the centuries, and
Yeah.
now we haven't.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be quite a rude awakening for a lot of people just to go, gosh. And I would say, really work with the household. don't have a shower every day. Have a wash in between.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a shower every single day.
Mm,
Kids don't need a bath every day. So
mm,
just become a little bit more aware of how much water you use. And if you do, stick it on land. Don't put it down the drain. Put it onto
yeah.
land somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know that's really difficult if you're living in a high-rise block of flats. I really,
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
Mm,
But we have to become more water aware. It's absolutely essential.
yeah. And
Yeah,
it's scary. Without water, we don't have life.
that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
God. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sahara Desert, there's nothing exists there except the odd snake.
Yeah. Scorpion or two.
And then a miracle, because I've been
Yeah.
to a waterhole in the Sahara Desert,
Mm.
and I expected an oasis, but no, it was not an oasis. It was a bored waterhole found
Oh,
by diviners
yeah.
where they got their water from. Yes. And it was an
Interesting.
extraordinary experience to go, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It literally was a round hole in the desert they drilled down. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's hope that that doesn't happen here.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah, especially not here. When
Yeah,
there's enough
exactly.
rain, we should be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the weather forecast isn't great for rain, um,
Mm.
but I do think that there are ways of praying for rain.
Mm.
Certainly there's rain dances done all over the world. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
we just start doing that, but being very, very conscious and giving thanks to rain.
Yeah.
We normally curse it and go, "Oh, bloody rain!" But
Mm.
wow, what a heart opening to welcome in the qualities of water,
Yeah.
what that
Yeah.
mean. And water allows us to be fluid and to
Yeah.
adapt and be flexible and to communicate. And I do believe that water, and this is Veda Austin's work, carries some form of fluffy stuff, cosmic imprint.
Yeah. Fluffy stuff.
There's something going on to do with this, which I'm really interested in, that water carries that imprint. So,
Mm.
bless your water when you're drinking it, or just give it a thought, or whatever it is, and we're made up of 94% water or something. It's a
Yeah.
huge percentage. So it's part of how we live in our physical body. And
Mm.
if you're feeling very grief-stricken at the moment or frightened, it is because the essence of us is damaged. Is it's damaged.
Mm.
There is something going on with our water and the lack of respect for it. So
Yeah.
yes, just honor if you're feeling that grief and that sense of fear. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And the moon has an influence on the water on the planet as well, doesn't it? So kind of bringing it back to the astrology of that. Yeah.
he does.
The wisdom in water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she sure does. Without her, we'd be in a hell of a mess. And I'm very pissed off that one of Elon Musk's.
I know. I was going to mention that, and then I thought,
Oh,
okay. I mean, really.
if anybody doesn't know, it's crashed into the moon with the most enormous explosion.
With intent, it was intentional.
Oh, I
Intentional
didn't
in a
realize
sentence.
that. It was intentional.
Apparently so, yes.
So intentionally crashed into the moon.
To
Why?
create a crater. Why?
Yeah, I mean that's just utter vandalism, space vandalism.
Yeah, I mean, why mess with yeah, it really upsets me.
Yeah.
It's
We've got
not.
a lot of stuff going on in the world which we are complicit in without our permission.
Mm,
So
mm,
again, and I feel very sad, extremely sad and overwhelmed sometimes by that I
yeah.
have no say in how some people are behaving. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I wonder, is it better not to know? Is it better to cut off all this news and social media and just live in honoring the land and with the land?
Blissful ignorance.
Well, there's a man living in a mountain that doesn't know anything
Doesn't
about it.
know. There's a lot of hermits out there that don't know, don't care.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? Because I live in the present in the world.
Yeah,
Don't listen to the news. I
yeah,
don't read the news, but I do notice headlines.
yeah, same.
And so I do vaguely know what's going. I don't go into politics. I'm not
Mm,
interested in that because that's just a game.
yeah,
And I think the whole political system in the entire world is now starting to break down, which is good.
yeah,
Don't
which is
know where the
great.
chaos is going to go, but it's going to go somewhere.
Yeah,
So I'm aware, but I'm not. I don't go under the black cat cloud. I'll put it that way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you don't search or seek.
Yes,
Yeah, but it is out there. And yeah, we
yes.
are part of it. And it affects
Yeah.
us. Yeah,
But
definitely.
I think it's really interesting astrologically.
Mm,
August is quite a pokey month
yeah.
because we've had the shift of the nodes going from Virgo and Pisces, and now that the North Node is shifting from Pisces
Yes.
into Aquarius, so that
Mm,
we're now in the axis of the Aquarius Leo thing, which I find is it's this when the nodal axis shifts into a new sign. This is collective. This is
mm,
a global, a collective shift from. I think the South Node in Leo is an interesting one because Leo, really, the dark side of Leo is hubris. Oh my God.
yeah,
That is
yeah,
playing out in some of our leaders.
yeah,
Hubris.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That
Big
is that
time.
is the destruction of mankind, or
Yeah,
humankind, I should say.
yeah.
But this. So we really are over the next 18 months, really 2 years, really being asked to question our ego, and a kind of the need to be important, the need to
Mm,
show our ego.
mm,
I'm right, you're wrong. I'll lead the way,
yeah.
and this and performance towards the Aquarian.
Mm,
This, excuse me for coughing, collaboration and innovation and collective responsibility. So it's
yeah.
me, I'm important, to we, how do we do this? And it
Yeah.
couldn't come at a better time.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's really important to understand. And and that really brings us to the eclipse season,
Mm,
because the door really opens onto this. Even though the shifts happened, it happened on the 27th of July, the shift, the North Node shift.
yeah.
But we on August the 12th, the glorious 12th, interestingly,
Mm,
we have the solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse, the new moon in Leo.
mm,
So, and this eclipse really does ask us kind of, who are you really?
mm,
About authenticity. It's about courageous heart. It's about true leadership with honor. Um,
yeah.
and I think that's going to be something that's going to be coming to the fore a lot.
Mm,
And it's, yes, I think, and it's got Jupiter is kind of kissing it. So
yeah.
Jupiter is going to be expanding, and Jupiter really does like to show off. If you've got
Yeah.
Jupiter in Leo in your chart, you're not for the faint-hearted. You're out there, being very important often. So it is about how do you embrace that desire to be who you are, but do it in integrity.
Mm, mm. And Chiron is also retrograde
Mm.
through all of this.
There's loads of retrogrades. So
Yeah.
so Saturn, so Neptune went retrograde in early July.
Yeah.
Saturn station retrograde on the 26th of July. And then we've got Chiron retrogrades in Taurus on
And
the
this,
3rd of August.
mm,
So there's a lot of retrogrades. So I think this is and I think this whole thing to do with the water is
yeah.
making us retrospective.
Yeah.
Globally,
Yeah.
these are the big planets. These aren't the personal planets. These are the big hitters. So I think, this it's interesting because Saturn in
Mm.
Aries is fire, and we're
Fine.
learning the lessons of fire.
Yeah.
Before that, Saturn was in Pisces, and we were learning the lessons of water.
Yeah.
So we're learning, water and fire. So
Yeah.
that's our current lessons. And my God, isn't it just?
And it's everywhere. It's not just our reality. It's Canada. It's
Mm,
it's kind of, well, northern hemisphere in, well, it's
yeah.
winter in the south. So yeah, it's interesting. Mars is going into Cancer just before the
Yes.
eclipse. Mercury enters Leo just before the
Yes.
eclipse. Um,
Yep.
Venus in Libra.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. So actually, on the full moon eclipse, or the new moon eclipse, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Mercury is in Leo, so it's
Yeah.
a very, very Leo eclipse, and
Yeah.
Mercury in Leo is the orator,
Yeah. Oh,
right next door
interesting.
to Jupiter, which is expanding this. So I am going to be interested to see
Mm.
what big speeches are being made or big gestures are going to be made. Are they true? What are they going to
Ah,
promise us?
interesting.
What are they going to say
Yeah.
to us? And
Yeah.
keep just don't get sucked into the glitz and the glamour of
Mm.
what may be promised. And you can go back to Trumpy if you like, and the mega thing, the MAGA, that was the promise of, whoa, here we go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what's that done?
Nothing. But then,
Destroyed a lot of good
it
stuff.
has. And on the flip side of that, I'm very interested in this mayor of New York, Mamdani.
Yes.
He's doing this stuff. He's made the
Yes.
promises, but he's actually doing them as well.
Yes.
Um, and I suppose it depends on what your algorithm feeds you, because I'm sure that there are algorithms that feed you different things. But if you listen to him,
Yeah.
um, there's a groundedness, in that, um, in caring about the collective. He's not the loud Leo kind of. He's just like, hang on a minute. This is important to the people. I'm going to freeze the rent. I'm going to make sure that there's if good food in your supermarkets. I'm going to give you ways to
Mm.
to feel empowered in the world. Yeah,
It's very Aquarian. Let's talk
exactly.
about us,
Yeah,
let's not talk about me. And of course, we've got Andy Burnham doing
yeah.
similar things over here. I'm very interested to see how he play if he's not destroyed by the system. That's the other thing.
Well, this is the thing, and this is what we've seen happen so many times.
Yeah.
But I also think, with Pluto in Aquarius, with
Yeah.
with all these things moving, that there is people are hungry for the us, for the
Yeah.
Ubuntu, for the I am because we are. It's not
Yes.
just
Yeah.
I. Yeah, yeah.
Say that word again. I love it.
Ubuntu,
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Yes,
It's beautiful, isn't it?
it is.
The
Yeah,
African way of being, Ubuntu.
exactly.
Yeah,
Ubuntu. Yeah.
it's us, not me.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
it is.
maybe,
I am because we are, it's because
yes.
we're in a village, because
Oh
we
my
we you
God.
grow together. And
That
yeah.
couldn't be a better symbology for this new moon eclipse. It couldn't be a
Oh
better
wow.
symbology.
Well, that gives me hope.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And you
Yeah.
know what? These are younger people. So
Mm.
they're born in a different generation. They're not the Pluto and Leo generation, which is my
Yeah.
generation, which are most of these megalomaniacs who are meant to be inverted running the world. They are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe they'll stand up to, those people who are about AI and wanting
Mm.
to create a completely different world. But these new leaders are coming up saying, hang on a minute, no,
Yeah.
humanity matters. And I
Yeah.
think, maybe, the change of climate is so relevant at this moment. It's so important that it does. at this
Yeah.
moment because it marks the whole change of what has been.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
burning away the dross, if you like, or burning up something that just doesn't serve us anymore. And that is the megalomaniac egos.
And it makes it so that we can't ignore it.
Yeah,
Now it's here at your doorstep. Now there are, host by
yeah,
bands down in the south. There are camping restrict. There's all these things, and
yeah.
now suddenly it impacts us in a physical way. It's like, oh, hang on.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
tell you what, come November, there's going to be food shortages. I don't want to be
Mm,
sensationalizing things, but the farmers can't plant for the autumn because
yeah.
the ground's buggered basically. So, and I think that's going to be really interesting that we're going to have to learn to live with a lot less.
Yeah.
Maybe,
And learn to
queue up
adapt.
for it like we did in the old days.
Yeah. I mean, looking, having lived in the Southern Hemisphere and then living here, it's always struck me that, water storage is so little. There's no irrigation on the fields, yeah. So there's going to be an adaptation. The way that it's always been done isn't going to work anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, I
yeah,
agree. And I think that's what's so exciting, actually, that the one thing that I am in awe of humanity about is our incredible creative spirit that give
yeah,
us a problem and we'll find a way around it. And I do believe in that. And I think that that is what is going to happen. And all of us are
yeah.
going to have to adapt. All of us are going to have to find different ways of of relating to ourselves within
Mm,
a very fast changing climate. And that's going to be, as you say, right in our face.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. And
Good.
it comes back to what we've spoken about before. It's kind of deciding what is the truth.
Yes.
Is this the truth? Or, what am I choosing to believe here? Is it just,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
fluff?
No, I think it's very exciting. And also I think it's interesting that Mars enters Cancer as well in August, so leaving
Mm,
Gemini. And I think, this sort of in Mars in Cancer isn't very kind of massively happy, but what it does, it turns that Mars aggression into the protector.
yeah.
Cancer is all about home and belonging. So maybe we're really going to start stepping up to protect our home, which is our planet. So
Yes.
I'm
And
in,
it's such a beautiful planet. And I think
yes,
that's where we need to kind of start going, hang on a
yes,
minute.
yes,
Yeah, we need to
collectively.
protect this. Yeah.
Yeah,
There isn't anything else like this out
yeah.
there that we know of. Yeah.
So I think, this new moon eclipse, and it goes on, it's got a long tail on it. It goes on for a good 6 months and it'll be have been triggered by other things before, obviously. But the question is, how do we contribute to something greater than just me? How
Yeah.
can I give to the world something more than just what I want? And I think
Yeah.
it's learning about the cycle of giving and receiving. That's healthy. But when we're
Mm.
taking, which we have collectively, it destroys everything. It destroys
Yeah.
everything. It
Yeah.
has to be this balance of giving and taking. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So I think it's interesting. Yeah. And also this attachment to external validation. That's very Leo. Look at me, I'm just so
Mm.
important. And actually saying, sorry, mate, you're part of the tribe, behave or you're
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it's not about you. But
Yeah.
I also then have to ask you, Sue, because I know there's a lot of talk about this Lion's Gate on the
Oh gosh,
8th.
yes.
What is your take on that?
Oh dear. Um, I think it's fluffy stuff.
I thought so.
I think it's lovely, and
Yeah.
lots of people passionately believe in the Lionsgate.
Yeah.
And great. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with believing in that, but I don't.
Mm.
It.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'll put it
Yeah.
that way. I mean, everything is changing so fast, and I think the most important thing, if it talks to you, speak to it, because it's called
Exactly.
you. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
call me. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
What about you?
Similar. I know it's there. I'm not sure what I feel about it. There's nothing. concrete in it for me. It feels a bit
Yeah.
fluffy, but maybe I change. Maybe it's something that that comes into my consciousness. But I know there's a lot of talk about it, so I had to kind of just check in with you.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm very, yeah, because I'm such an Aquarian,
Yeah.
I'm heady with all this stuff. It
Mm,
has to show itself to me for me to believe in it. And
yeah.
I'm not saying that everybody else shouldn't believe in it. I think you've got to do what works for you, but I'm
Yeah.
cautious. And there'll be a lot of clickbait on it, I tell you.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? There's a lot of clickbait
There's
around
a lot
it.
of hysteria. I
Yeah.
find it really challenging, this astrological hysteria now. I do. That's what.
Yeah.
But having said that, what is interesting is the Jupiter is trining Saturn this month, and it starts to really build momentum, really from the 15th of August. Now,
Mm,
I think this is really, I do think something profound is in the process of,
yeah.
because when the conjunction happened, obviously on the 21st of December 2020, and we all know what happened then.
Yeah.
So they're both in air signs. I think
Mm,
that's really interesting. They meet every 20 years, which they did, and so now Jupiter's
probably.
missed off past Saturn.
Yeah.
And I think there is, when they come into an air sign, and this is for the next 200 years that they'll be in these air signs. The emphasis on ideas and technology and communication, and I think really important is collective intelligence. We learn wisdom through time and
Mm,
lived
mm,
experience, and that is Saturn going,
yeah.
this is your headmaster speaking.
Mm,
So
mm,
I think it's going to be, I think it's a trine, so it's a nice feeling. It's not a
yeah.
square,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to really profoundly change the way people think
Mm,
about how they work, how they communicate, and how we collectively organize the structures of society.
oh,
So,
that's
and
interesting.
again, and I
Mm,
think again, because Saturn is in Aries and there's so much fire, I
yeah.
think this is going to massively force us to reorganize society. So I'm keen on this.
It
And
sounds good to me.
I'm keen on this. And actually, hang on, when does it do the? Let me just find the actual date. It goes into. It goes. I can't find the date now, but right at the end of. Yes, yes, the 31st of August,
Mm,
Jupiter trines Saturn exact. So there is going to be, perhaps, I don't know, maybe an easier flow will come. Maybe let's just hope that that happens. And Jupiter is going to be in, for the next year, he is in Leo. So they've got this Leo, Aries, and
mm,
maybe leadership will come with responsibility rather than it's just me, and
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
that could happen. I mean,
Yeah.
pioneering leaders. Aries is pioneering. So Saturn manifests things. Saturn's the teacher. Uh,
Yeah.
maybe these old dinosaurs will start moving aside. God, I hope so.
Well, even this way of leadership, because that's where the issue lies.
Yes,
Yeah, it's these people fulfill the roles that we think
yes,
they're supposed to. But if we have a different idea of these roles, then perhaps we attract different kinds
yes.
of leaders. Yeah.
Yeah, well, something's going to be echoing what happened in December 2020, because that was the conjunction. So,
Mm,
that's really that changed the world. We called it the Great Conjunction actually during that time. So,
yeah. And
it.
that's also the day we land in Windhoek. So
Oh, oh, I love it! Perfect.
and the day you fly to Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So isn't that interesting? So, this is a beginning of a new, so when Jupiter and Saturn meet, they meet every 20 years. So there is this
Yeah,
always this shift of new social, political, and economic cycles. So
yeah,
it's interesting that we're, this time on, 6 years
yeah,
later, plus,
yeah.
yeah, just 6.5 years later, we are in the middle of a new social, political, and economic situation. Love it. Can't make it up, can you?
No, it does.
Okay, so
Yeah.
well, let's move on to the full moon eclipse, which is happening on the 20, I can't read my writing, 20,
28th.
yeah, 28th
Yeah.
in Pisces. Um,
Hmm.
yes, this is another interesting thing because it is making a very strong square to Uranus.
Ooh.
Yes. So I'm interested in this. This is again it's a mutable T square. It is a T square. It's going to be, there is an intensity here.
Yeah.
But I think this is, you know, um, uh, I think the moon in Pisces is extremely compassionate.
Mm. It's
It,
water. It's a fish. It's yeah. It's
overly
heavy there.
can be overly
Yeah.
can give themselves away. So
Mm.
and Virgo is about let's put a few boundaries down here.
Mm.
But I think there's going to be something here about um, maybe what we've the reality of what we have sacrificed,
Mm.
in our ignorance, if you like.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true, but I'm very, very curious about this. I think it's, and also because it's uh, uh, it's about illusions as well. Because it's a north node eclipse on the moon, it is, you know, what illusions or delusions are we carrying? What do we need to get real about? And
Mm.
um, and I think also this whole concept of trust is going to come very much to the fore. Virgo wants to control everything and create strategies and lists,
Mm.
and let's just tick that off and make great accountants. And Pisces is like, oh, whatever. Let's just go off in the
Go with the flow.
no, I've no idea. So there is going to be this tension between that, and I think trust, our instincts, our intuition, our understanding of this inner world that we have is going to be coming a much more to the fore. And it's really interesting. And maybe this is coincidental, maybe it isn't, but I'm doing a lot of work now as a medium and a psychic, and I
Oh
feel
yeah.
called to that. And I
Yeah.
think there's an awful lot of people who are being naturally called to work with the inner worlds,
Mm.
to work with the unseen worlds. And
Mm.
dowsing, I'm being very called to. So and I
Mm.
just wonder, everybody out there, are you also being called to very much work with the unseen worlds? And what does that mean to you?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah, it's an
interesting.
interesting one,
Very
actually.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yes, it's let me just make sure I've got all my yes. So, be very aware of these eclipses are interesting ones. When they're a new moon is the new beginning, and a full
Yeah.
moon is a completion of some kind.
Yeah.
So you may well feel that you want to leave the structures, the controlling aspects of yourself. I have to have all the details, or, we're in
Yeah.
the unknown now. You can't
Yeah.
make a list about climate change and tick it off. You can't. It's not
No.
possible. It just, you've got to walk in.
Yeah.
We've all got to walk the fire now
Yeah.
and trust that at some point we'll come out the other side.
Yeah. And there's a lot of inner trust, intuition, your in your own gut to
Yeah.
follow that because there is an inherent wisdom that we have that we've we've
Yeah,
separated ourselves. It's this illusion of separation that we've kind of
yeah,
bought into, which isn't
yeah.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, and also because because we've got Uranus at the apex.
Mm,
Uranus in Gemini. I think there's going to be very surprising and perhaps shocking revelations. I know we keep saying things like this, but I
yeah.
feel something like that. Uranus just built, it's the unexpected. It's in
Mm.
there may be sudden scientific revelations, discoveries. Nickel Tesla stuff might come back, or
Ooh, that would be
don't
nice.
know.
That would be good. Yeah. I
Wouldn't
mean, how
it?
many surprises can we, what kind of surprises could we
Yeah,
have? Because
something.
everything's kind of gone.
Because I tell you what, we have to change.
Yeah.
If humanity is going to thrive, we have to change. And Uranus is saying, whatever you've done in the past and whatever rigorous control or trying to control the outcome, you're done. So
Yeah.
I'm interested in the collective about this.
Well, it's very interesting for me in the personal, as this is the month that we are moving, kind of leaving everything and going into this thing. So there's a lot of trust, which it feels right, though. If you look at the astrology, it feels like um, there's a lot of people doing this. I was in a call yesterday, and there were three of us that are making big changes, are moving to different places, are following something that we haven't figured out completely yet. It's kind of
Yeah.
it's figuring out how to close the door, and then we see what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this reminds me of my teacher, Stuart Wilde. Now,
Mm.
I always used to call him the sort of the second-hand car dealer of the New Age movement. He was so naughty. Oh, my God. And anybody who doesn't know Stuart Wilde, check him out. He did die of drink. But by heck, he was a seer. Oh, my goodness me. And I
Yeah.
spent quite a lot of time. He was my first teacher.
Yeah.
I remember him standing on the stage and saying to us, there was about 100 of us in the room. We were in Taos, New Mexico. We'd been doing things like firewalking and chasing pigs all tied together. I mean, it was a wild, wild, crazy week. It was called, he taught us the warrior's wisdom, he called it.
Yeah.
And he was just having fun, I think. But anyway, he was a bloody brilliant teacher. And I remember him saying, you wait in X number he was talking about this time. He
Mm,
saw it coming. He just said, you wait, everything's going to collapse. If you feel you have to move somewhere, even if it's Timbuktu,
mm,
and you've got the call to go, and everybody says you're nuts, you must go because that's where you're meant to be when the great changes happen. And the fact that
yeah.
you're talking about four of you all
Mm,
moving somewhere important, that's the
mm.
sign. It's a
And
pro.
it's interesting that none of these places that the three of us are going to are first world countries. Everybody's leaving this first world concept and going either
Interesting.
back to, or
Really?
to a more, I don't know what it is. Yeah. Because I think all these structures have broken down so much, or they've been exposed so much to
Yes.
show the the brokenness of it all.
Yes. I think
Mm,
that's it, that we've been living on this crazy bubble and it's just gone pop.
yeah.
We've
Yeah.
been living a lie.
Yeah.
It's
And there's no accountability, like these Epstein things have come. Nothing happens when these horrible things are being exposed. So why play the game?
yeah.
Like step out of the system that is
Yeah.
not feeding you, whichever that is.
Yeah, it's interesting,
Mm.
isn't it? Well, I think even more interesting and feeding into all of this is Mercury is going to be something called cazimi with the sun on the 27th of August. So it's when Mercury is absolutely conjunct within minutes of the sun. It's called cazimi. And
Okay.
yeah, and it heightens. It's when Mercury isn't cazimi, absolutely
Mm.
conjunct, it kind of, it's called in the shadow of the sun, so it isn't quite as prominent.
Yeah.
It's Kazemi, it's what the two of them are just walking out there. And I find I think that's going to be really interesting because it's often associated with kind of breakthroughs, insights, writing, intellectual illumination. So I think, and this kind of feeds into the, the full moon eclipse as well. So there's something going on here about something, light being shed. Full moon
Mm,
is light. Something coming to the fore about some kind of massive insights about the way that we have been, I think,
yeah,
collectively. And my God, it can't come too soon for me. You know, I think we're all
yeah,
collectively, we're all going to go,
yeah,
shit. I honestly do.
yeah.
I do. Without, and again, I don't want to sensationalize it, but you know,
Hmm.
I
But
do.
it could be a good thing, you know. It could be that we're actually kind of moving forward now because it feels like we're moving backwards a little bit, looking at this water
Yeah,
issue we're having with and um Google data centers blocking off more water, and it's like, okay, when do we go? Like, hang on a minute,
yeah.
this isn't what we need. We need life, not
Yeah, but you know,
information.
I don't think it's all going to move forward until all these planets, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and Chiron go direct. I think we've got
Yeah.
major um, time of introspection
Mm,
of really going, "Jit, this is what we've created. How do we get out of this? How can we find a way to swim around this
yeah.
these rocks, which
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
will."
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a massive collective. Oh my God, help.
Yeah.
And
And Uranus is
there's only
also,
one planet. There's nowhere else to go.
yeah. Uranus is also going retrograde in September only.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's, yeah, I mean, isn't this the part of wisdom that we were talking about, this like lived experience aspect? We can't move around until we move through it, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. We've got to take responsibility
Yeah.
collectively, globally. These are the big hitting planets. These are not the
Mm.
little personal ones. These are the biggies. So
Yeah.
collectively. So it's going to be interesting to see, because we're not going to be seeing each other in September, I don't think, because
Yeah.
unless I can find a way of talking to you when I'm in Australia. Um,
Mm.
but we will in October.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's going to be really interesting in the next 6 to 8 weeks before we
Yeah.
speak again about what we're going to witness. And I think
Yeah.
people's fear of annihilation, and that is what we're
Mm.
facing, deep inside, that is the greatest fear of humanity, is to be annihilated because it goes
Yeah.
beyond the personal. So we will find ways around it, but it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yeah. Yeah, and that kind of makes me think of what you said earlier about the mediumship and kind of, working with this
Yeah.
inner world, or other parts of
Yeah.
our existence that we also kind of put in the
Yeah.
back,
And
death and dying and all of that, and
yeah, oh
yeah.
God, yeah, absolutely. We've all of this is really important now,
Mm,
understanding the natural cycles of life. But what I'm also doing is I'm starting up a CE5 group, which
yeah,
which is based on Stephen Greer's work with the
yeah,
with extraterrestrials, and looking at how to develop telepathy so
mm,
that perhaps we can, as a group, find some way of communicating with the unseen.
yeah,
That isn't dead mum and dad. That is something on
yeah,
a higher level. I don't
yeah,
know whether we're possible, but the group's up for it, and so am I.
yeah. And I think there is, and I mentioned this last time as well, that there's a space where we can also, deepen our telepathy in communicating with each other,
Yes.
outside of these screens and phones, and to be so connected to other souls that
Yeah.
we have
Yes.
connections with.
Yes.
Yeah,
And asking, the other side, for guidance and help.
yeah,
Sometimes the messages come through quite strongly, and other times they don't. But that's
mm,
such an interesting process of understanding how all of this works. But I think telepathy
mm,
incredibly important skill to develop now.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in that.
Yeah. And it's something we all have, it is
Naturally.
a muscle that needs to be exercised again because we've suppressed. So
Yes.
there's one more thing.
Yep.
You are also doing a introductory astrology course.
Yes, I
So
am.
yes, that's
Thank
very
you.
exciting.
I've forgotten about that. Just throw something.
Yes.
Yes, I am. So it starts in, so I'm doing it with the lovely College of Psychic Studies, who are just
Yeah.
such a lovely bunch of coconuts. They're so gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I am going to be starting it on uh when am I starting it? When am I starting it?
I saw your email and I
I think it's on the
did check.
17th. I think it's the 17th of November.
Yes, I
I'll
think,
put the dates below.
yeah. Yeah.
It's 6 weeks course, a beginner's course, very basic beginner. If you're interested in astrology and you go, I have no idea where to start, this is the course for you. It's
Yeah.
6 weeks. It'll give you the basic understanding of your chart and how to read your chart. And then that's going to be followed next year by 6 week course, which we're calling the foundation course, which ups it a bit more. And then
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing the intermediate
Yeah.
following that in the early summer. And in the winter, I'll be doing an advanced course.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so over the
Brilliant.
year, you'll
Yeah.
really be able to understand and develop your
Yeah.
astrological skills as you go along, all with the College of Psychic Studies. If you pop onto their link and just pop my name in it, you'll find all the information about the beginner's course and all the dates and everything.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to that.
I can imagine because I know it was sparked with the last course you did with Shift Network
Yes,
and kind of
yes,
realizing that, we need that
yes.
foundation
The
and to
foundations,
build on that,
absolutely.
which
You
I'm
know,
very glad you're
and
doing.
they have to be solid foundations,
Yeah.
there is technical
Yeah.
there to learn astrology, you've got to know the technical stuff first.
Mm.
It's boring, but you've got to learn it.
Yeah.
And then you can start developing it yourself and finding your own way of reading a chart. There's no one way, but
Yeah.
but you need to know the basics. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Righty
And we
ho.
won't see each other for a little bit, but we'll be,
October, I'll be in
yeah,
Australia and you will be in South Africa.
that's it. And we will connect then and see what
Yeah,
what happened here. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to be a
yes.
wild
Yeah,
ride, I think.
yeah, God, yes. And
Yeah.
Godspeed to all of you out there who are listening to us. And yeah, bumpy ride at the moment, girls and boys.
We should be used to it by now. Well,
Yeah,
see you soon and safe travels.
yes, safety, absolutely.